Hey fam, this is Pastor Carolyn here, your pastor and purpose pusher of Tears to Breakthrough Ministries and TDB Global, and the founder of the Breakthrough app and Queendom Purpose Academy mentorship. And welcome to Real Talk Live, where we have real conversation about real life issues. Amen. And today will be no different. But first, you know how we do. We're going to do our image bearer affirmation, because each day we should be striving to look more and more like our Heavenly Daddy. Amen. Amen. So you are not a reflection of your past, and you do not look like what you've been through. You are an image bearer. Images are reflections, and that's what we were created to be. Reflections of God here on earth. And here's our affirmation. I am an image bearer, created in the image and the likeness of God. Therefore, I don't look like what I've been through. I am who God says I am. I can be all that God has created me to be. I can do all that God has called me to do. Why? Because I am an image bearer. I am a reflection of God. When I look in the mirror, I see the reflection of God within me. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. And because I am an image bearer, I am not defeated. Can we say that part again? Because I am an image bearer, I am not defeated. I do not have to beg for anything. God has given me everything I need. I am fruitful. I multiply. I fill the earth and I subdue it. And I have dominion. Why? Because I am an image bearer of the Most High God. Fam, you are the image bearer of the Most High God. Just believe it and receive it. And I want you to head over to our Breakthrough app, where you will be able to get resources, lots of powerful inspirations, and you could also have the opportunity to join our digital legacy library and book club. That's where you will find, all of our monthly book selections and discussions. So head on over to our Breakthrough app, and also head over to my link tree, because if you have been feeling the stress and the weight of all that's going on all around us, backed by popular demand, we have revived our virtual retreats. So go to my link tree, register for the virtual retreat. Because let me tell you something, with all that's going on around us, we need to silence the noise. Silence the noise. And I just want to encourage you that everything that is happening on the outside of you, you have the ability to tap into what's on the inside of you, and that's the peace of God. Amen. That surpasses all understanding. Amen. Greater is he that's in you than he that is in the world. Amen. So now let's get this party started. Let's welcome our guests. Amen. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Real Talk Live.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, Crystal. Welcome into the room.
I am here.
You are here. You are here. You are here. And I am excited about this interview, because you are amazing and you have an amazing story to share. So we are now live on Facebook. So good evening, Facebook family. And we have Crystal here, Crystal Veney Thomas. And so basically, we are going to be talking about our anthology, We Don't Look Like What We've Been Through.
Yes.
And we're going to be talking about Crystal's chapter, Legacy. How did I get here? How did I get here? So first, let me just go ahead and read some of your bio so the audience can know who we're talking to.
All right.
So, and I love your bio. I love the way it's written. So it says, growing up in the tough streets of Philadelphia, Philly in the house,
Yes.
Crystal Thomas found herself a victim of her environment. With addiction prevalent all around her, Thomas had to, I'm going to say Crystal, had to take on the role of a woman much earlier in life than she had anticipated. Unfortunately, the statistics caught up with her, leading to her dropping out of school in the 8th grade. Shortly after, she became a teenage mother, a situation that forced her to accept her new reality at a very young age. Crystal found herself caught in a cycle, getting comfortable with the system that seemed to have predetermined her path. However, a turning point came in her life when Crystal realized she wanted more. I love that, Crystal girl. You wanted more. That's
Yes.
right. She
Yes.
was
I
not willing to
did.
settle, right?
Yes.
And so she made a conscious decision to break free from the victim role she had been relegated to, and instead became a victor in her story, determined to break all generational curses within her family. Crystal embarked on a journey of self-discovery and empowerment that would redefine her future. Through hard work, determination, and unwavering resilience, Crystal achieved a significant milestone by earning a bachelor's degree in criminal justice and human services, but she didn't stop there. She is currently working towards obtaining her master's degree. Crystal, of course, I could go on, but I love that because I love how you started out, but you did not let that stop you. You said, I am unstoppable. This is yes.
Yes.
My past is not looking good, but I'm not going to stop there. So I want to start with, of course, your chapter is chapter 7.
Yes.
We don't look like what we've been through, audience. Chapter 7. How did I get here? So can we start there? Legacy. I like the fact that you entitled it Legacy. How did I get here? Can you speak on that?
Yes. I'm gonna speak on legacy because when my mother passed away, she actually came to one of my friends in her dream and told my friend that she was sorry for leaving such a burden on me and that she wanted me to leave a legacy. So I internalized that as my mom had a very hard life just as well as me, and her mother did also. So I seen the patterns begin to like from my grandmother to my mother, then myself. So within those patterns, I wanted to say to myself, I said to myself, this is not life. There's something other than this. So being a 8th grade dropout, but it wasn't fun. It wasn't fun. I just wanted to do better because now I had my two younger sisters that needed to come up under me. And then it became three younger sisters. I
Wow.
was like, this is a lot. So it's three younger sisters and a kid, my own kid. So what more to do than to show them better than what we already have been exposed to? Now I'm gonna say from probably from when I was born till about 11 years old, I can remember great times, great times. We had great times. My mother was an awesome mother. She really was. And when I'm gonna blame it on Ronald Reagan because it is nothing but Ronald Reagan that brought the drugs in here. But you know, family got a little well, it wasn't just my family, so it wasn't all families.
It was a
But
lot of
for me,
families.
when it affected me, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know who to go to. I didn't know who to turn to. So it's like every time I turned the corner, it was like smack in the face. no, or you can't. I was like, this is not fair. So I went to GED programs. I tried to get my diploma, but life was happening because I had to make sure my sisters ate. I had to make sure me and my child ate. I had to make sure everything was okay. But in the midst of it, it bottled up within me that I had to take on being a superwoman at
Mm,
age 13.
wow.
Then when I had to step into the role of being a parent myself, that wasn't fun because I didn't know what to do. My mom did as best as she could. She actually was by my side when I had my baby. She told me the different things that I was going to expect. But what I do admire my superwoman, which is my mom, for is when I went to deliver my son, I'm glad she was there because I almost hemorrhaged to
Mm,
death.
wow.
Yeah. So it's like she asked them to help my baby because she said it was like blood coming everywhere.
Mm,
So
wow.
but I was like, I need to do something different. So
One of the things you talked about that I was impressed when you talked a lot about your grandmother, and then you talked about the village. You said I was loved by many and did not want for anything because my mother had a village behind her, and not because she couldn't take care of you, but just because people loved your mom and they loved
my
your
grandmother.
grandmother. And I thought that was so beautiful because you talked about legacy and knowing you're very popular like that. So people know Crystal. It's not too many
They
people
do.
that I run into that don't know Crystal. So I'm reading all this about your grandmother. Okay, your grandmother left a legacy
Yes,
in you.
she did. And I hear that so much, Pastor Carolyn, with people that still know my grandmother that was here, that's still living. They like, you look just like your grandmother. You are a split in image of you. And I am. I look exactly like my grandmother. But to sit with my uncle, my only uncle that's still living and share stories, he just told me all about what my grandmother and my mother did. And I have so much of them inside of me.
That is beautiful. That is so beautiful. I love that. And you talked about the village, and I know a lot of people don't have the village. A lot of people don't have the village. I know growing up, I had a village, but some people, especially nowadays, they forgot about the village. It's times are different. So even though, like, you can grow up in the roughest of environments, but if you have that village, those people around you that love you and you know they love you,
Yes.
they calling you on your stuff when you need it. Like that village, we have gotten away from that so much. And I feel so sorry for a lot of the young people now. They don't have a village. They don't even know what a village is.
They don't even, they wouldn't even know. I'm gonna say it's funny because I would say my children and my grandchildren know because I have that effect on people. But the block that we lived on was so family oriented. Knowing that the crisis that was happening within my family, when I tell you they knew me as a person being a generous kid on the block that went to the store for everybody, when I
Mm,
tell you, Pastor Carolyn, my oldest son was born, he didn't want for nothing. I had a neighbor on the corner with the stroller. I had a neighbor right next door for all these clothes. I had a neighbor across the street. I had the whole block. I didn't have the whole block. The whole block came and really looked out for me and my son. So that's what I mean by village. Like they were there for me.
I love that because I know growing up, we had our village was literally not even just family, but neighbors. So
Yes.
my mother
Yes.
could be out of town, but some kind of
Yep.
way she know what we're doing
Yep.
because the
Hmm.
neighbors they would have checked they were checking on us and they would
Yep.
let report. And I know even with my son, I had a village because I would
Hmm.
be at work and I would get a call, you need to come home because this is happening. So it's so sad that we've gotten away from that. Because like nowadays, you can't even check people kids. It's like if you,
No,
what are you
no,
saying
they
to
don't
my
have
child? That's
respect.
my child, you know. But we grew up like that, where we respected, you know, adults, and our mother's friends could discipline us, like at least
Yes. The
put us
school
in
used to
check.
discipline
The
us
school could put
too.
us in, right, right. So we've gotten away from so much of that, and you can see now the result of getting away
Yes.
from that village. So that village is so important, and that village is a blessing. And I love that. Even while I was reading your book, even you talking about, you know, your granddaughter, you're talking about your grandchildren, because even in that, that's a part of the village.
And that's a part of the legacy as
A
well. Like
legacy, yes.
when I
Let's talk
when
about that. Mm.
so my granddaughter, you know, I post everything about my babies because it makes me feel good knowing that they are a product of me.
Hmm.
So everything, and I shared this with my granddaughter on Monday when I picked her up from school. I said, you know, I'm living through you. I didn't get to walk down the eighth grade aisle, the ninth grade, the 12th grade. I didn't get to do none of those things. But to actually share this with you, and you are doing it with honors, and you're doing it with working, and you're doing it with maintaining like your sleep. You're not sleep deprived. You're doing all of these things,
It's
even when she
amazing.
wanted to, when she seen me write a book. That's why you gotta be mindful of what you're doing in front of children because they watching. She
That's
was
right.
like, so if you wrote a book, I want to write a book. So she wanted to write about puberty. She wanted the people to know what she was going through, what she was taught, and what she researched. And that was like, wow. And she did it by herself.
That's good.
Then you got this little boy that's coming behind her. Well, if you and my sissy did one, why can't I do one? So
Again, that's legacy. They're watching you, and we are the example. Because I
yes.
was listening to you, and even when you was talking, saying that, like I know when I wrote my first book, my granddaughter, I forget how old she was, but she watched. She watched, and then
Mm-hmm.
when I wrote the second book, she was like, "Well, I want to write a book." So when she was nine
Yes.
years old, she wrote a book because she saw me writing a book, and so we
Yes.
are that example.
Yep.
We are that example, and I love that. I love the whole legacy thing because the children are watching us.
They are.
They are
They
watching us.
are.
They're hearing everything we say. They're watching how we move. And so I'm a proud grandmom, and I love that I am setting that good example. And
Yes,
I see that
yes,
you're doing the same thing, and that's what's
yes,
needed.
yes.
That is what's needed, and I love that so much. That legacy is so important because truly, we don't look like what we've been through.
Oh no,
So
no.
we don't
And
look like what
promise,
we've been through.
I promise you, if you would have seen me 8 years ago, I don't look like the same person from 8 years ago. That's what made me get deeper into talking to my uncle because my grandmother had style. My mom used to make clothes. My mom was a seamstress.
I read
She
that.
used to make satin dresses. Me and my neighbor and my sister, we used to dress up in the dresses and we would walk around acting like we were Denise Williams. We would do all of these things. But my grandmother and my mom, they actually, so some of the things that I love to do, they were doing as well. So even when I named my nonprofit Diane's Way, I feel like if my mom wasn't in the crisis that she was, she would have had it her way. So that's why
Mm,
I dedicated my nonprofit to my mom.
I love that. I love that. That's what I was going to talk. I wanted to talk about your nonprofit. So talk more about Diane's Way and what is your nonprofit about, and what does, like, what was the motivation behind you even one? I mean, I think I know what was the motivation, but can you tell everybody what was the motivation behind you starting your nonprofit, and what is the Diane's Way?
My initial reason for starting a nonprofit, I wanted to open up a recovery house for women addicted to drugs. For some reason, God wasn't pulling me that way. It
Mm,
still was going to remain Diane's Way. It just wasn't pulling that way. So I was like, it wasn't until my mom passed away and I had someone reach out to me that was one of my mom's sisters. And when she told me the story of what happened to her, it made me go back to the table. Let's go talk to my uncle. Talk to my uncle. And you know, back then they wasn't allowed to say nothing. So,
Right.
but it really was true. My mom was molested by her dad.
Mm,
So
wow.
we can't just throw the drug in there because the
Mm-mm.
drug was just
A
a
symptom
symptom
of the
of
root
what she was going. Yes.
of what she was that right.
So
Right.
now I want to deal with trauma, women
Yes.
in trauma. I go to work every day. I work at where do I work? Community council. So where I work at, women be out there selling their bodies. So yesterday was it. I was like, I'm just going to actually organize where I could just go out there 2 or 3 times a week, offer them some food, offer them some information, resources, try to find a place where I can have a safe space for them to come and try to get some help
Yes.
because it's a
Wow.
lot of women suffering with the same thing that my mom went through or worse.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I thought it could be, I don't know what worse is because when my mom was dying, she told the hospice nurse that she was worried about us, but she still didn't want to share. I said, but it made me go back and think. That's why she said when my grandfather said he was going to buy a house where I was living at, she said over my dead body.
Mm.
So it made me just pour into myself, like thinking like, wow, my mom really went through some stuff.
Right, right.
But I really wish she was here so I can have that
Good
conversation with her.
conversation.
She didn't never want to get help. But if you look at people these days that's going through the traumatic experiences that they are experiencing, some people don't want it. They don't want to let it go.
They don't want to let it go. But a lot of it is 'cause, like you made a good point. Your mom didn't. She didn't really talk about it. That a lot of people are in that place. They don't. They buried it. They don't. They've never talked about it. And so that's where, and then you wonder why people don't just wake up one day and be like, I want to be on drugs, I want to be a prostitute. That's the root, that's the symptom of something that happened at some
Mm-hmm.
point. And
Mm-hmm.
because they never really talked about it, because they just, kept it hidden, we are as sick as our secrets.
Oh my
That
goodness.
statement is so powerful. When I first heard somebody say, I was like, that we are as sick as our secrets. So as long as you are keeping stuff secret and holding that
Yes.
stuff in, you're gonna be sick. And it's gonna manifest in different ways. It's gonna manifest either in drug addiction, sex addiction. So there's so many
It's
things.
a lot of a lot.
Physical sickness, mental. So we have to, I mean, I think people are talking more now about their trauma.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I know my parents didn't talk about trauma. They didn't talk
Because
about trauma, and they didn't want me to
remember, we
talk
were supposed
about
to stay in a
trauma.
child's place.
You stayed,
We were
first
supposed
of
to
all,
stay
you
in a child.
stayed in the child's place, whatever that meant, and then the whole seen and not heard, whatever that's supposed to mean. And then, it was just so many things that just didn't even make sense when you look back.
Yep.
Seen and not heard, stay in a child's place. Like, what are you talking about?
Those
So
you
then the
got to eat what they make. Yeah, exactly.
right, whatever you better eat it. You better eat it. Like, what are you saying? You don't like that? And see,
Yeah.
I was one of those stubborn kids. I remember sitting at the kitchen table all night long and I didn't want to eat something. I was
Yes.
determined not to eat it, and my dad would let me go to bed. My mom was like, "No, you just sit there till you eat it." but yeah, but when I look at that, how that's how they were raised. Just keep things a secret. Don't talk
Mm-hmm.
about it. Don't talk
Mm-hmm.
about it. And so then we decided, no, we're going to talk. That was the first thing I remember with my son. I want you to come to me for anything. I don't care. You can
Yes.
tell me anything. I
Yes.
remember telling him, and I might be upset with you, but you come and talk to me. And same
Yes.
thing with my granddaughter. When that you can tell me, and the girl be on the phone like, mama, 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 mama.
Yes.
And I thank God for that, because we didn't have that growing up.
Nope.
We did not have that. And so, I mean, I thank God I didn't end up being like addicted to drugs, but I had a lot of other issues.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Listen. Yes.
So if it's not manifesting in one way, it's going to manifest in another, but it's coming out.
Yes.
It's
And
coming
that's what
out.
I want to do. I want to talk about it. So I didn't know about my trauma until trauma happened to me back to back.
Mm.
So even with my grandma, my grandmother died. When my grandmother was dying, my dad's mom, I actually like wiped her face. She took a deep breath and cause she already said she was looking straight ahead, saw her mom and her sister, she was coming. So to actually like have like one of your favorite people just die in your arms,
Mm.
right?
Yes. Wow.
And then your mom, you giving your mom permission to die, like that's a lot. That's a
That is
lot.
a lot. That's a lot. It's a lot of loss.
It's a lot. And the losses that were leading to me writing Since You Got This is like that. If it wasn't for my oldest son, I told y'all, he was like, Mom, I need you to realize we need you. We need you.
Mm.
He's like,
That's
my daughter
good.
needs you, my brother needs you. He said, and I need you. He said, I got a dope mom, but I need you to believe that.
Mm. So when he said that to you, a light bulb or something go off in your head? Like what
When
were you
my son said that
feeling
to
when he
me, let
said
me
that to
tell
you?
you, when my son said that to me, I went and applied for the nonprofit. I went and got an LLC. I didn't even, and I don't want you guys, these viewers, I don't want y'all to do what I did. I never knew how to drive. So I went and got my driver's license without studying. I've been a passenger forever, but to actually like go and drive, I want to say I just moved on adrenaline. I never dealt with the
Mm.
grief. I just wanted to move on adrenaline and like just do things, do things, do things. So they are all the things that I went and did. I was like, and I could do it. I was like, this is amazing. Like for me, I dropped out of school in the eighth grade. I had low self-esteem. I didn't think I could be this person right here today. But
Mm.
here I am. My son, he said, Mom, I walk the walk with you. I know what you've been through. You are my hero.
Mm. That's so beautiful. I love that. And you are his
Yep,
hero and their hero. And so
yep.
I love that. So that really motivated you to get out there and get all of these things accomplished. And and I love that because so many people would have given up.
I was about to give up, and you read a part in my bio that I need to still work on. So when I applied to Westchester University to get my master's degree, but I
Hmm.
still was grieving internally.
Mm.
So the only thing I mastered was hiding my pain.
Mm. Wow.
So, but I could put my big girl panties back on. So that's why I want to do these women's empowerment groups. That's why I want to help these women that's on the street because they
Yes.
have a story, and I
That's
rather
absolutely that's right.
heal with them.
Mm.
Healing is a process,
It's a process. It's a lifelong process.
and I rather walk the walk with them because I'm not better than you or nobody else.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
I love that. So that goes into the whole pain, the purpose. So even though you went through a
Yep.
lot of pain, there was purpose behind all of that pain.
Yes.
There
Yep.
and I mean you've accomplished a lot.
I
Like really,
did.
if you sit and think about it,
I did.
and I love when you're so passionate when you start talking about how you got your driver's license. You're like, look, I'm
And I
gonna get
did.
my
And
driver's
I thought
license.
that out carefully too, Pastor Girl. I thought that out carefully. I was like, I did that. And I learned how to drive in an ice storm. They would not cancel my
Mm,
test. I
wow.
learned how to drive in the ice storm. So when I came home and they was like, schedule your driver's test. So I scheduled it. And I'm looking through the dates. And it's crazy that Valentine's Day really stuck out. I was like, Crystal, you gotta start loving yourself. So let's start right
That's
there.
so true.
Let's start right there. And for me to get in that car and did not know nothing about a car,
Mm,
nothing about a car. It was determination. I was determined that I had to do better for me and my children and pursue the happiness that I want and I still yearn for.
And you did it and you're still doing it. I mean,
Yep.
that's such a huge thing for some people, even getting their driver's license. I minister to a lot of women who are starting over, and some of them always wanted to drive. They weren't allowed to drive while they were in that marriage. And when I think back, because when I was in a domestic violent marriage with my son's dad,
Uh-huh.
and even though I was driving since I was 16, while I was in that marriage, I didn't really drive. He drove us everywhere. And I remember the very first thing I did after I left him was got a car.
I do
I was like,
too.
I got a car. And I remember telling my son, we're gonna always have a car.
Yep. Yep.
I'm like,
Yep.
we got a car, we're gonna always have a car.
Mm-hmm.
And that's huge. It might sound small to some people, but that's a big deal for a lot of people, especially
That
a
was
lot of
never one of
women.
my goals. That was never one of my goals was to drive. And that would have been a generational pattern as
Mm,
well, because my grandmother or my mom didn't drive.
wow. Phew. So let's talk
So
about that, breaking them patterns and cycles, them generational curses, because we talked about how the legacy, how you are your grandmother and your mother's legacy in
I
a
am.
beautiful way. You're representing in a beautiful way. But there's still, like, I know there's a lot of things about my mama I represent in a beautiful way. But there's
Yes.
some things that some generational curses and generational patterns and cycles that need to be broken. And when you were
Yes.
talking earlier about your granddaughter, and I was saying to my son a couple of weeks ago, we were talking, my granddaughter, and that's why she's so precious to me, because she represents so much of me that when I was her age, oh my goodness, she's in college, she's doing well, like she's just living the life that
Yes.
I should have been living when I was her age,
Yes.
So,
Yes.
and so many things, and I always struggled with purchasing property. And my son bought his first property when he was 19. He's had so many properties since then. But
Wow.
again, that's breaking those generational patterns and cycles, breaking those generational curses. So can you speak to that? Yeah.
That's that's a lot, right? That's a lot.
Hmm.
So my grandmother knew how to make some money because she would sell dinner. She had 7 children, but she also had to take care of her mom, she was a double amputee. My great
Mm.
grandmother had sugar, so she had no
Oh,
legs.
wow.
So
Okay.
my grandmother stayed with her to take care of her children and her mother. So my grandmother did. She's had card parties. My grandmother was she was an Easter star as well. Her and my dad's mom. So they did a lot of things within the community. They helped a lot of people. That's Both of them were doing so much of the same things, but when it came to being on welfare or living in Section 8 or PHA housing, I did the same things also. But those things are stepping stones. They are
Right.
tools that get you to the next level.
Hmm.
And I didn't want to show my children that. So my first son, when I moved in PHA at age 18, I didn't have another child till I was 25. So the only thing my children ever shared was their mom. They didn't share a room. They didn't share a TV. They didn't have to share anything. But these are the things I did. They are the things my mom did. They are the things
Hmm.
these are things that happen that we think that we need to hold on to. We don't have to hold on to that because you wanna live a better life. You want you want better, so you do better.
That's right.
So when my granddaughter, to look at her at age 16, the week of her 16th birthday, create a resume, apply for a job at an assistant living, yeah, place out Bromar. She did these things, got the job. She not only got the job, she then moved up in so many positions and got
Wow.
an increase in salary just by her demeanor. And she said her boss called her in the office and told her, "You have the most pleasant
Wow.
attitude walking around here, and these residents really appreciate you." So they awarded her for that.
It's beautiful.
And they are the things, again, she sees those things. But when she got that 4.25 GPA, I said,
Ooh.
I only thought it went up to 4.0, 4.0. So that, again, that's like, wow.
Wow.
Because I dropped out in the 8th grade. I was like, I wouldn't even know these things. But also her dad, when I sent him to school, is you going to school? But he never brought homework home. He told me homework was for dummies. He did his homework in school, straight to the 12th grade, graduated. And his children are doing the same thing right behind them. Let me tell you something about this little boy, this little grandson I got. You talking about watching and knowing that they're gonna be better. I said, Cody, can you come tell your uncle to come sit the trash out? He said, what do you mean sit the trash out? I said, come sit the trash out. He said, Mama, the proper way to say it is take the trash out. But I commend my son for that because like he put them in those type of schools that he
Right,
wants
right,
them
right,
to
right.
have that. But we also got to keep it up at home
Oh
also.
yeah, that's right. Because he like, would you sitting the trash out?
He said, you take the trash out. But we want to see those things. And both of my grandmothers, I'm pretty sure, but I didn't get to be around my mother's mother because she died when I was 2. But when
Mm,
I tell you the neighbors in my family say I was like her prized possession,
mm.
and I know that for a fact because I hear it. I hear it.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. I love the legacy. I love the legacy. And you have accomplished so much. And you're talking about your speaking voice, girl. You better speak because people
I
need to
got you.
hear what you have to say. Your story is so important and so powerful. The whole legacy thing. Even when I was reading, I was just like, wow, like about your grandmother and your mother, and just knowing you.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
are the legacy. And then now your grandchildren. So that is so beautiful when like I know I can relate to that because like I said, it's so when I look at my granddaughter and I look at my son and I'm just like, wow. So because sometimes when you're going through a lot of trauma as
Yes,
a parent and you just being a parent, you just doing the best you can do from day to day. You really don't know what you're doing. Um, you don't even know what you're doing.
nope, nope.
But so when you get to the point where you can look back and you're like, wow, I did something right.
Yes.
I did something right.
When
Because
I
you see the
purchased this,
fruit. You see the fruit. Your children are the fruit. The grandchildren are the fruit.
when I purchased this home, Pastor Carolyn, July 19th, 2002. When I purchased this home, I said it's going to be up from here. We're not going back. We had a past. So we move from that. So I
Mm,
want them to see these are the things that you do when you want to be somebody or become somebody or just be better than you were.
that's right. That's right. That's right. I love this. I love this. I don't want you to stop speaking. I don't want you to
Yeah.
think you don't have anything to say because you got a lot to say and it's impactful. And each time you speak and share your story, you are helping somebody else.
Yeah,
There's so many things that you said that I know that when people watch this video or hear your story, wherever you tell your story, there's so many things, there's so many layers of it. Like even
it
something that
is.
might sound as simple as I got my driver's license. There's some woman sitting around wanting her driver's license, and you saying that might motivate her to go to that DMV.
I'm glad you said that. So in my book, since you got this, I've had I don't know how many women and a few men actually go back to school, not only get their diploma, but get their degrees as well. Like just by reading my story. And they shared it with me. Like
See?
they really did.
Yes, I love that. I love that. So, what would you say? Because honestly, I could stay on here and talk to you all night long. But what would you say to somebody that's watching and they're just thinking they're in such a rut? They've gone through so much trauma. They got so many generational issues. And we know that it's not easy to break those patterns and cycles. But what would you say to somebody who say, I just want to do a little bit of that? Like, how do I get out of this funk? And how do I start to just do at least even one thing? Because that's what you got to do. You got to start, take one step
Just
at a
do it.
time, do one thing. What would you say to that person?
I would tell them to just do it. It doesn't matter if it sounds like it's not going to be right, or nobody will perceive it how you think they should perceive it. Just do it, because it's you that need to come out of the. So I'm gonna use mine as an example. So when I went back into all of those things, so my logo for Sis You Got This is a butterfly. So I went all the way back and I looked up butterfly in the Bible and I Googled it.
Mm.
And I listened to like Miss Swan when she talked about it on the group. So I went back into a metamorphosis stage. Metamorphosis. So you gotta, like, you hit the rebirth, like the rebirth. So if you want to do something and you're hungry to do so, you just have to step out of your comfort zone and just do it. You can't, nobody can take you by the hand because they're not feeling what you feel.
That's right.
They don't see what you see. They haven't been where you've been. And I'm glad I was able to do that for myself, because that was a lot. And I still have a lot. I still have a lot. And grief don't just be about death.
No.
You could grieve in a whole lot of ways. But how will you handle it? Because I can't say, Pastor Carolyn, oh, I went through this today. Can you help me do that? No, because I know what I
No.
did. I know
Right.
what happened. So when my son told me that, I had to realize that they need me, and I'm dope. I know I am. I know
Right.
I am. It took me a long time to figure that out
Mm-hmm.
because I was a people pleaser.
Mm. Whew.
So just do it. You want to move to the next level, you have to do it. And that's why I titled my book Sis You Got This, because
Mm.
I I held everything in. I just was angry. I was hurt. I was a lot of things. But when I walked down that step and that mirror was on the side of my wall, I just had to look in that mirror and say, Sis, you got this.
You got this.
So what do I need to do? So what I did was I went and got that license. I also went to therapy. I also
Okay,
went
yes,
to
let's talk
therapy.
about that, because you see, therapy is necessary.
It really is.
Faith, obviously, we need to have faith. We need
Mm-hmm.
God, and you need
Mm-hmm.
therapy. Because
Therapy.
for a long time in the church, people didn't talk about that. Now, you don't need no therapy.
No.
You only need Jesus. No, you need Jesus and
Yes.
you need therapy,
Yes.
because we need all of the things. It's so much when you've gone through the type of trauma that I know I went through and that you went through, honey. We need all of the things.
Oh my gosh.
Okay,
Oh my
and
gosh.
then some. So I always tell people, you have to want it. Like, how bad do you want it? How bad do you really want to have a better life? Like, you have to want to have a better life. It's not going to just happen for you. Ain't nobody coming to save you. Ain't nobody
Nope.
coming to do nothing for you. You're
Listen,
going to have
that's
to
why I
figure
didn't
that
want to
thing
leave
out.
that 37-year-old child of mine. I know I did not want to leave him with nobody because I knew nobody wasn't going to take care of him
Mm,
like I did.
that's
So
right.
when I
That's right.
picked up the drugs to sell them, I knew I was doing something wrong. That's not something I was supposed to do. So what do? I don't have a diploma. I didn't know. I was lost.
Mm,
So I just stayed on welfare because I didn't want to leave my son
mm.
with nobody, and I'm in prison.
I know that's right.
Or dead.
Or dead.
So that was short lived, but it happened. So going to therapy, having that outlet, and letting someone hear you and not
Hmm.
judge you is a great feeling.
Yes. Community. You have to have community. You have to be around like-minded people. You can't continue to stay around the same people
Nope.
with the same old mindsets and all them issues and thinking you're going to get better. No,
Mm-hmm.
you have to find a new circle.
Yep.
Because that's the other thing. You're as sick as your circle, too. You're as sick as your secrets, and you're as sick as your circle. So find more people like that's why we love When Women Empower. We love
Yes,
our community
yes,
because
yes,
you can always be uplifted and just listening to somebody else's story and how far they came. That'll give you the boost that you need to go out, step out on faith. Because that's what it takes, faith, to step out on faith. We walk by faith and not by sight. Don't be concerned about
exactly,
what you see, what you hear, what the
exactly,
naysayers and the
exactly.
haters got to say. Do what you have to do for you. And so I just want to say I'm so proud of you, Crystal.
Thank you, thank you, thank you,
I'm
thank
so
you.
proud of you. And
I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going. Like I said, I asked God the other day. I need to find my voice. So speaking in this tone,
but you
speaking in
found
this
your voice.
manner.
You found it.
Yes,
It wasn't
yes,
lost.
yes.
You
Thank you
found
so
it.
much.
You
I
found it.
just
You got
I
it.
am very thankful for so God said, your friends and your family know your story. So it's time for you to branch out and meet other people that need your story. They know your
Yes.
story. You have
Yes.
people that need your story.
Absolutely.
So that's why I found you ladies. My presence, and I realized my presence is felt no matter where I go.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Like you were talking about your grandmother and your mother, like wherever they went, people knew who they were. You're the same
Yes.
way. You are the same
I
way.
gave my mom a surprise party one day. All of the neighbors like, what you need? Everybody contributed.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. So see you, yeah, you're impacting so many lives and I just want to say just keep doing what you're doing and I am so proud of you. And I'm so honored to even know you, Crystal.
I'm honored to know you gal as
Yes.
well. Yes, I
Yes, yes,
am.
yes.
I
So this
am.
was a pleasure. Because I can keep going. This is good.
Yes, it
But
was. Yes,
thank
it
you
was.
so much for sharing your story. And so how can people reach you so they can order their book?
So for since you got this, they
Because
can this one?
okay. Well, first
This one.
we don't look like what we've been through, but
You
then you
can
have other books. Talk about your other books and tell them how they
yes.
can
So with all of the books, anyone,
mhm.
they can actually um so I'm still working on my website. I'm still
Okay.
working on my website. So that's why you can actually call me directly, inbox me on social media, Crystal Veney on Facebook, Crystal and her best on Instagram. And I have PayPal, I have Cash App. Um, but I would love to actually autograph the book and send them out. So I have books on hand because I
Okay.
like to autograph it to the person and I mail them out to them. So if
Yes.
anyone wants to inbox me, purchase a book, but this story right here, it
Powerful stuff. Whew.
is yeah, it is.
It
I
is.
I just got it. It's layers. I have layers.
Oh
So these
yeah.
layers is slowly shedding and I
Shedding all the layers.
yes.
And it's all
Yeah, I
good.
can't.
It's all
Yeah,
good.
yeah. You have to release in order to restore. You have to release.
Absolutely. Yep. You have to. You have to. And each time you tell your story verbally, each
Hmm.
time you connect with somebody and collaborate through an anthology and tell another part of your story, each time all of those layers are just coming.
Listen,
You're shedding all of that stuff.
the
That
letters
that's
to the little girl
child.
got me.
That's next. Yes.
That got me. Listen, I told Disha, it got me like I literally had to go back from when I had my very first child to talk
Mm.
about my health scare, and that's a whole
Ooh.
nother level,
Ooh. Whole nother level,
a
right?
whole nother
Mm.
level. But it made me dig deep.
Yes. Whew, so much to unpack. Well, thank you so much, Crystal. I love you so
I love
much.
you
Thank you,
too.
everybody, for joining us. Connect with Crystal. As you can tell, she got a lot to offer. She has a lot of books and anthologies. She just got, and she's a wealth of information.
Oh
She
yeah.
has her nonprofit. Tell them what is the name of your nonprofit again?
My nonprofit is Diane's Way.
Yes.
And that logo is a phoenix. And that phoenix
Mm.
means it's to like to rise above these ashes that
Yes.
was placed upon us. So we have to rise. So that butterfly and that phoenix is about to come
Mm.
together, and it's gonna be something powerful. I promise you, it's gonna be
Yes.
something powerful. Yes.
Yes. I
So
love it.
stay tuned. I'm gonna just say stay tuned with that because it's in the making.
Mm. Well, you heard it from here. Well, thank you
Yes.
so much, Crystal. Thank you, everybody, for joining us live. This was such a blessing. Crystal, you're such a blessing. You really are.
Thank
And
you.
look, don't forget to grab your book. We don't look like what
Yes.
we've been through,
Yes. Yes.
and all of Crystal's books. And we will see you next time. You have a blessed and marvelous evening, everyone. Have a good night. Thank you, Crystal.
Good night.
Good night.